This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, very good morning. Thank you for your time coming here and listening us. So before start of the meeting, I need a small help from you guys. So like here we have a chat section. Okay, in this chat section, just ping like what's your name and what's your background. See, suppose like if you're a fresher, just write it up. Hey, Shiva, this Shiva, and I'm fresher. Like if you have an experienced person, say like working on the Java. Say like I'm Ganesh and I'm working for a Java like 5 years. Just give a name and small background about your experience or like this thing. It helps me to go through the demo. So I'm just pinging hi in the same chat. So you, yes, same like how Monica has put, right? Like Monica, I'm fresher, so looks good. Hey Monica. Okay. Yep. So meanwhile, you guys can update your details. So I'll start with this thing. So DevOps. So now we might hear in most of the projects, and like in even every of your path, you might hear this word. Actually, to say basically DevOps is an infinite loop. Why we call the DevOps an infinite loop, and what is the DevOps? Here, in this session, are we going to learn what are the 5 Ws? Mean to say, what is the DevOps? Why is we required DevOps? When we were required? Where we required? Just simple, like we will discuss like where we're going to use the DevOps, how it has impacted the current market or like the current software industry. So what we are achieving with the DevOps. These are the few concepts wise we are going to discuss today, and by end of the session we will understand like what kind of tools we have, as well as like what kind of tools we're going to learn in this course. Okay, so anyway, you might got already the course content, but no worries, I'll explain again like what are the tools we're going to learn in this session. And then the final thing, right, we will definitely clear all your queries. So same, you guys can use the chat, like you can ping anytime, like if you have any queries in meanwhile, while I'm talking. And moreover, like, at the end of the session, we will give you like who can learn, like why they have to learn the DevOps, say like a freshers, why they, what's the advantage if they're learning the DevOps, and if an experienced person, what is the advantage if they're learning the DevOps. So we will cover those things as well. And if any certifications required, so we'll definitely discuss on that as well, guys. So I hope, let me hit the chat. So we could see some on IT as well. Could see some freshers and we could see some experienced persons. Okay, glad to hear all those things, guys. Hope you're able to see my screen. Anyone can confirm me, please?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, thank you to him. So, in terms of DevOps, many people tell different types of ways, but I always consider DevOps as an infinite loop. Why I call DevOps as an infinite loop, and mm, first, what is the DevOps? Then we will go like what is like Yep, sorry, I forgot about myself doing direct. Actually, that's a kind of thing like about us. So I'll start with the content on that. Yeah, this is Shiva here. You can full name like Shiva Prasad GV. Right now, I'm working as a technical, like to say, associate architect in Legato India Private Limited company. And last 5 years, I've been into the DevOps and training wise, I took like almost like around 2,000 people I've trained till now into the DevOps. Moreover, like I used to train DevOps, AWS, OpenShift, and SRE of all kind of these trainings I've provided till now. Around 2,000 plus people have trained. Working wise, like I'm working as an SRE for my current job as an SRE architect wise. So we mostly like deal with OpenShift, GCP, GKE, all kind of all Kubernetes expertise. Moreover, like you can say like moreover, I'm working on the container services, like upgradation of the container services. That is one of my core skills, guys. Sure, definitely. So like first we'll go to the introduction of DevOps. Okay. Yep. Okay, I take the pen. I always, you might see like, when you just put it as a DevOps, you might see this is the image. But this image, you have to see in it chopped way. Okay. So you have to see it in the chopped way. These are two parts. You can see all this, blue color kind of thing is in one part, all where you see amber color, right? This is the second part. Okay, so just read the content, like I'll read the content. Idea behind DevOps is to demolish the wall between the development and operations and encourage no more collaboration, encourage more collaboration and accountability between both groups so that everyone feels responsible for the code no matter where it is in the software development lifecycle. A simple thing is just read this thing. The idea behind DevOps is the wall between, demolish the wall between the development and operation. This is a perfect apt statement why we use the DevOps. And what is the required thing to the DevOps? Yes. If you see here, like I'll explain you, like first, like what is the development life cycle, so that you can guys will see more on that. Okay. So initially, like very initial time, like when the software development life cycle starts in around 1980s or 1990s and early of the 2000, we use different types of SDLC models. One of the thing is the waterfall model. What is the waterfall model? Like how it works? Like I'll give you in a picture. Say it's a sequential thing. Like what it will happen. So it's a kind of a sequential operation. So it's one stage by stage. Just consider this is a planning. After the planning only, they'll go for code. After the code only, they go for the build. After the build only, they go for the testing. After the testing only, they go with deployment. So this is how it happens as in a sequential process actually. So a waterfall model will work as in a sequential model. So you can't jump from here to here or like from here to here or like this thing. So even if any changes happen in this particular cycle, again, children on mute, please. Hey, if you guys have any questions, please use the chat box here. Thank you so much. So again, if you felt like yes, this is the one place again. So development wise, there is like some changes that will happen. Again, you have to go back to the plan, and again, the plan has to be changed, and again, it has to come to the development. So that's how it happens. A lot of disadvantages we have, and specifically we call that as a sequential process. Okay. So later, right, like after in early after 2020s, we still use a waterfall model. At the late of the 2000s, mean to say like 2010, 11, 12, in that time, right, in that era, particular era, we have used Agile. Okay, so what is the Agile? Agile is a kind of, how it happens, the bits and pieces kind of code. Okay, bits and pieces of code, how it will work. So like they'll say like, in the same development wise, say they'll cut the pieces, development, all the activity of the development, they'll cut the pieces and they'll use a small piece of work in this particular sprint, and the next they'll do deployment of that in the next sprint. So it's like, cuts and pieces code where they're not required to go back and do like a sequential process action, let's say. The similar concept. So DevOps is extension of Agile. Why have I called extension of Agile? In Agile methodology, you always look for the development environment. You never look for the operation thing. So in Agile criteria, right, you never look for the operations. Operations won't come to them. That is one of the disadvantage, and where the like, what you call, where the root started for the DevOps. Okay, so that is a little bit background before to the DevOps software SDLC models. So moreover, like waterfall model is a very initial model, and later like it moved, it occupied by the Agile. From the Agile, now DevOps is a market. DevOps is one of the SDLC model which we are using. And I would like to clear one thing, guys. DevOps is not a tool or it's not a some software. It's a SDLC model. Okay, it's a kind of a software process. In this process, you may encounter many of the tools usage. Okay, it's not something a small tool or a small software something. It's a kind of a process of SDLC model, and it may you may encounter a lot of tools to achieve that process. Okay, so achieve that process. So now we'll come back to the DevOps. Here you see the green color, right? Sorry, you can see the blue color, right? This blue color, what you called here, is a dev. Okay, this is what we call dev, and this is what we call ops. So why we call why we call as a dev and why we call ops? Here we do all the development activity. Here we do the all operational activity. Okay, so like first, just we'll start from here. Okay, this is a plan section. So whenever you say, suppose you're working with some client, say client say, hey, I want particular 5 pages of web application, 5 pages of website. So they plan accordingly here, say like, yes, these are the 5 pages, and where it comes, where like, okay, I need login button here, I need that button here, I need this button here. All those planning will be happen. You guys are able to see my screen, guys?
Sir.
Yep, I think
Yes.
Monica, maybe there is issue from your side. Just a reconnect. Yeah. So like, after the plan only they go with the coding. So usual coding, like they maybe use any of the programming language for doing the code. And after that they build that code. So they'll create like a compile, or like, create the packages, whatever those things. After that they'll do the testing. So once the testing is completed, they release the code into the production. Okay, so from here onwards, once the production code move to the production, it will go to the operational things. Okay, so we call that as, in terms of, in our regular terminology, we call that as a production support. Okay, production support team, we usually call that, right? They, in terms of the DevOps, we call them as an operations team. Okay, operational team. So operation team, right? Like they'll get the package and they'll deploy into the production. They'll operate, or they'll monitor, what you call, like they do the support, all those things. That is the particular cycle we call here is an amber. Okay, this amber, whatever we have, we call that as a production support or operational support. Okay, so like you could see, right, like where is the wall and how it has been demolishing, what is the advantages. This is the same thing we also see it like with a lot of other things. Yes, but this process happens as a continuous process. That is one of the advantage we call. So whatever you saw this process, right? This process happens a continuous process. It's not something like, okay, start it today, it happens tomorrow, or start today, again, it will be moved out of after some time. It's not something like that. So it starts and, it do like every time it will make it up as a continuous process actually. So how, for one of the example, you guys are using the mobiles, right? If you go to the Play Store, you'll get like updates. So every week you'll get the updates, every 15 days you'll get the updates. So how that has been happening? Okay, so that is one of the reason, like, you're doing it like a continuous process. Most of the mobile things are using the DevOps. Okay, so that's how, it's a continuous, they're making it as a continuous process, so that, every time they're getting the new bills, or every time they're getting the new features to the market, and every time, like, you're doing it like what do you call a high availability of your application. Okay, we have two more slides to discuss more on that, guys. Okay, so as I'm telling, right, it's a continuous process. So that's where it called infinite loop. If it will make continuously they are doing the same thing, that's where it will make, like infinite loop kind of thing. Okay, so as I said, right, like continuous process, this is what I called continuous integration, and this is a called continuous deployment, CD. Okay. So we call it as a CI and CD process actually. So continuous integration and continuous delivery process or continuous deployment process. Okay. So by using the two terminologies, we're going to achieve DevOps, guys. Okay. So it continuously happens. So it makes you like look in infinite loop. But that's where I call it as the infinite loop, guys. Okay, so what operations, like, moreover, like we'll discuss why we require DevOps and where DevOps is been going to fit. I'll explain you with the real-time examples, guys. And at end of the tool, like, we discuss like the CA tools and CD tools and what is the course content, all those things. Keep with me. Yeah. So 5 Ws of DevOps. What is the DevOps? We already discussed. Why we need DevOps? When we do need DevOps, or whom do we need DevOps? Where do we need DevOps? Okay, first is like what is the DevOps? Method of emphasis and a communication, collaboration, integration between the software developers and operational profiles. Like I would like to share a picture to show you a very easy of this thing. 1 second. So then consider this is a kind of so this is called Dev. This is called Ops. This particular piece, the combination between Dev and Ops is this place, right? Okay, this common place, what we call DevOps, guys. Okay, this particular piece only we call it is DevOps. Okay, so now we have to understand, you have to get familiar with what happens on the dev, and you have to get familiar with what happens in ops model. So that is a very, specifically to say very minor level, you can call this is how it derived actually. Okay, so we'll back to the our slides. Yes, environment that promotes practicality, shared business task and beliefs, a moment that improve the IT service delivery agents, ability, agility, many things. Culture that promotes better working relationship within the company, set practices that provide a rapid, reliable, predictable software delivery. Okay, so these are usual terminology, but I'll explain now in a regular way. An environment that promotes cross practicality, shared business tasks and beliefs. Okay, so forget about that line. I'll tell you in cross environments. Why we require a cross environment? So say suppose I in normal regular way like how I'm using, like I've used the development environment, like a testing environment, or pre-prod, prod, or like many of the performance testing wise, like I may use many different environments. Okay, in a real time, right? Like normally, say suppose if I'm doing a development, I'll start development today. So it may take like 2 years for me to do that development. Later on, we go with the testing. Okay, when I start the development, maybe like I'm using a software version called like maybe I use a version 3. But when the testing starts, right, like maybe after the 2 years when the testing starts, what happened? Maybe you may have a version 5 or 6. Some features which you shown here in 3.11 maybe not work at appropriately in 5 version 5. Or it's expecting some new features, or the existing feature maybe like very basic kind of thing. So it maybe there is a version gap, guys. So that's how it will happen usually. So how are you going to fix that thing? Like cross environment. So say like how the dev environment look like. It need to be other environments need to be happen the same thing. That is one of the advantage. First advantage of the DevOps. It uses a similar environment for all the stages. See, suppose I have a dev environment where we're going to replicate the dev environment as an SIT or like UAT or any of the testing environment. That makes more like, say like my code is working the dev, it's not working in the, that's a common feedback we usually say. Hey, the same feature working in my laptop, it's not working in other laptop, or it's not working in the set environment. We won't hear such kind of errors or such kind of issues in the by if using the DevOps, because the DevOps makes a similar environment, a replicated environment of dev to all others. Okay, so that's where one error is eliminated. Okay, so for promoting the code also, like usually how we do promoting the code, whatever the code you develop, like say suppose if you have done some jar packages by if you're using the Java, or if you're using the .NET, you may have some DLS. How are you going to promote that from one environment to other environment? Say like I done something, and again later, right, we use some SharePoint. From the SharePoint we will move it to the other, wherever we required we download that package. So this is how it happens. But in the DevOps, it won't allow such kind of manual things. It always say like automation in where you required. If I require an SIT, you directly deploy there. Okay, that's where like a manual intervention will be reduced a lot, and even the same package, whatever the package has been delivered in the dev, will be replicated in same in other environments. So it's not something you are required to do in multiple times. So same package you can use, because the same environment whatever I have in the dev, the same environment being into the SIT, so same thing will be make it up in UIT and prod as well. So that's how like you can do the same environment, utilize the same environment, and do the copy of your package, promote your package into the others, where it makes you like sensible thing. Okay, so moment that improve the IT delivery. So as I said, right, like if you're using the same environment and same package in others as well, so it will automatically improve the delivery wise. It will make you like faster delivery. That's help you to do the improve your delivery services as well, culture, and promote better working relationship within the company. So as a process of CI/CD, right, like we are like using the dev environment, testing environment, and we're working with operational team. So you will maintain the rapport with development guys as well, and you'll maintain rapport with the operational team. So that's where like communication and culture are better working relationship within the company, so that we can see if you have any ideas, or you can share with them to the development team, or if you have any ideas, you can share with the operation team. So you're seeing the both, right? You're seeing the both. So you can define them, or you can guide them, or you can give suggestions, or all, your communication makes improve that service delivery. That is the one advantage with the DevOps. And set up practices that provide rapid, reliable, predictable software delivery. Yes, we'll see that. We'll see that in the next stages. Okay. Why do we need DevOps? So we may have a lot of tool, like lot of SDLC models, lot of process. Why we require DevOps? Why have to learn the DevOps? Okay. So how many guys, like as I said, right, like you are using your mobiles. Okay. So if you're using your mobiles, right, like if you see, like, there is a if you're using in a mobile, some people are might be use laptops, or some might be used like what do you call tabs. Okay, if you open a website, suppose if you open a website, it if you might see that alignment. Okay, if you open in a mobile itself, if you open the same thing in a web application, web browser like kind of Chrome, okay, you will see one different alignment. And if you same thing, if you open any app, you see one different alignment. If you open a tab, it will be one alignment. If you open the laptop, it will be the one alignment. Maybe the screen size differs. Say like it's a 5 inches, it's a 7 inches, or it's a 15 inches, or different sizes, the different fitting of the screen. Okay, you might require to say like multiple devices, multiple fitting of multiple screen sizes. Okay, when the developer looks like, right, yes, okay, now in the market they're using many of the different applications, different types of mobiles, or different types of applications. So what they have to do, they have to fit their application to the any of the device. Okay, that kind of a leveling now it required while they're doing the development. Okay, so that is the one, right? Like that's kind of, if you're doing the multiple applications, if you're deploying the similar package to the multiple applications, so you have to maintain the multiple applications, and you have to do the multiple application designment, and that kind of collaboration required by using the DevOps. Okay, so that is one of the example, and we'll see here what we have here. 47% greater required need for collaboration between the development and operations. I'll tell you one small, saying like development and operation. What kind of issues usually you'll hear it from the development and operation side, guys? Okay, so development side. Okay, so suppose developer thinks, yes, I can do some small change here, and I can do the changes, and I can promote the code to the production. But always in the production team says like, yes, they won't have a much aware on what changes will happen, and these guys have to maintain the production stability or reliability of the application. They always say, hey, don't do any changes, man. Now the current code is working fine. Don't do any changes. Don't make any screw up anything. Okay, so that is the usual comment we hear it from the operational team. Okay, that's a usual conversation. Say, hey, don't do any changes. Now the current code is working fine. I don't want to disturb the current code. Okay, but developer has to do some new features, right? Developer is always look, yeah, if I add this thing, it will look more good. If I add this thing, it will look more good. So that is the way developer thinks. But operation thing, yes, I require stability, I require a reliability of application so that I won't have any errors. That wall, okay, that is the wall what we are discussing now. Okay, to eliminate that wall, dismantle that wall. Yes, hey developer, do that features. Okay, I'm ready. I'm the person here to make the reliability of the application. Do whatever you want. Okay, yes. Hey operation, I'm doing this kind of development where it makes you more comfortable to you to operate your software or operator to the particular monitor or monitor that particular application. So that kind of a communication between required between the development and the operation team. So that is where DevOps is fitting and making the job as more than enough. Okay. So that is the usual conversation we happen with the dev and production team. The greater need for deploying across the different platforms. This is what we discussed. The 41%. As I'm telling, right, the different platforms. If you may using the web application, if you're using an app, or if you're using the different types of screen sizes of applications, it has to fit into the same. Okay, that is the where deploying multiple platform, different types of platforms you using. That is the where DevOps is making the job, guys. Okay, pressure from the business to release the apps more quickly to meet the customer demands. Yes, that is also one of the other case. So other 41% of the business is requiring, see, hey, mobile applications, you guys are using mobile applications, do more better than, do more better, do more better, do more better. That's where, if you open in a Play Store in any of your Android mobile, you'll see every like, every 5 days you will receive one of the application. Okay, one of the application will be upgraded, like versions will be upgraded, patches they'll release that, because to attract the customers and improve their business. That is the end goal, right? So to do that, you have to do the better UI, so that business users will be felt like a good, uh, like a they'll feel good, and they are try to acquire the market. If you have a better UI, or if you're releasing the frequent releases, adding more features, that's how it will happen. Okay, need to improve the end-to-end customer experiences. 39%. Say like if you're using an application, right? You're using an application. So how you say like hey, you will have a feedback things, that you have monitor things. Uh, yeah, but to specifically say like how many guys are using IRCTC Tatkal booking? Anyone have you ever used like yep. So now if you use a specific time, right, like usually it was 11 o'clock it will open. If you open, right, like it will very slow, it will definitely take, in normal cases, if you require to book a ticket, it will happen within 3 minutes. But in specifically in Tatkal time, it will happen more like, 10 minutes, 8 minutes. Simple booking ticket, it will definitely take more than 8 minutes, which is like, not customer will happy, right? So how we have to improve that? Okay, so that's how customers say, hey, like they're very slow, man. I can't book the ticket. So usually this is the kind of comments we hear. How we gonna improve that customer experiences? That's where DevOps is required. Increasing of the mobile devices, yes, we already discussed, and increasing needs to develop and deploy the cloud-based applications. Yes, this is one of the very, very a very, very relay statement in the current DevOps market. Okay, so cloud-based applications increase a lot. What is the advantage of cloud-based applications? And we're not discussing much here, but the greater need is required. Like many of the applications, many of the startups, or many of the even MNCs are using the cloud-based applications where they're hosting their application to the cloud. So it's a DevOps and cloud both are a kind of twin sisters. Both do different jobs. Okay, but both are a kind of a twin sisters, I can call that. Okay, so even in the cloud also you're going to do the DevOps only. That we'll see in the further slides, guys. Now increasingly complex IT infrastructure. So if you're using the more applications, see, like as I said, right, like if one application is being utilizing one mobile application, just simple in mobile application only. If there are 20,000 applications, 20,000 people downloaded, is one kind of infrastructure required. Again, same thing, 2 lakh people is using, you have to require different infrastructure. If like 20 lakh people are utilizing, you require more infrastructure. So that's where, infrastructure utilization wise is also increased a lot, guys. So you have to keep that infrastructure to make your application reliable and stability. Okay, to maintain that also, like we require DevOps. When do we need DevOps? We need to release the software updates on time. So what you're doing on the mobiles, or like if you see some web applications, we want to ensure the stable release and environment and maximum times. Okay, so stable releases. That's what always an operational team thinks. Hey, I require a stable releases, man. I require a stable releases. So it won't have any issues, like it won't have any downtime, it won't have it may have high availability, and environment maximum number of times they have to do it, like every time, like the new feature ready, yes, go with that. Okay, new feature ready, go with that. Send it to the production, move it to the production, move it to the production. So do you do the frequent releases? And every week you will release. In usually olden days, if you're using the waterfall model or agile model, it happens like a production will be released. What do you call? Maybe like every 2 months or 3 months we do one release. But if you're using the DevOps, every week you'll get released. Okay. So We aim to address the problems before the end users get impacted. Yes. You may have multiple environments, say like within a week, right? Sometimes some users may not opened or might be see or something. You guys is already get the feedback and you can monitor that and you can, finish up that. So monitor is also be part of the DevOps guys. So that's a different story and different kind of thing. But you'll get understand yourself, like to say what kind of application you guys are utilizing, or you develop, or like how you maintain. That kind of level of details you have, so that it can help you to fix the problems. Okay, it helps you to fix the problems if you have any problem occurs with that particular version. Okay, we want to have a continuous incremental delivery. Yes, this is a statement what you call continuous incremental delivery. So continuous process is required, where it reduce the manual intervention, guys. Okay, so reducing like manual interventions. I'll tell you, like one kind of a conversation usually happen. If everyone says like we're using the manual testing or we're using automated testing, if it goes to the automated testing, whether any lose of the jobs or like reducing of the jobs or like reducing of the team sizes, no, it increases even more because of automation, making you more reliable on the what you call stabilization or reliability of the application. Okay, it, even automated also you require to do some scripts or you require to make it up on a running things. Okay, so that's where it occurs more jobs in comparing with the regular manual thing, right? It occurs more jobs and it is an advanced thing. You are updating yourself. Okay. So we require a continuous incremental delivery where like every time I can release the new versions or new packages. Where do we need DevOps? Building and maintaining servers, time consuming and unproductive. No environment management, difference in development and production environments. We already discussed the statement. Slow deployments, costly error prone manual process and effort. Slow deployments. If you do the slow deployments, right, like sometimes if you're not new feature released in this thing, like people always look for the new features, they'll go to the other things. Okay. No shared ownership, lack of feedback, and proper metrics leaks. So now, right, and if you go to the reviews, if you go everywhere, you will have a reviews kind of thing. So you will have reviews to give feedbacks and all those things. And also now, in a culture, in DevOps culture, right, you have a monitoring section. It will monitor each and everything, simple thing, like, okay, they'll monitor, the level of monitoring will be happen, say like, if you open a website, www.google.com, how much time it's consuming to open that in a regular speed. Okay, that level of monitoring now today we can see how many applications is coming, how much like how much kind of response time has been happening. Okay, even though if you specifically like even how it makes you more reaching the customers. If you search for one product in the Google, say suppose if you're looking for kind of a dress, say dress for the man or dress for the woman, and if you open any of the web applications, you will get advertisement through the similar kind of thing. Whatever the before search, right? Before search happens, the same search you will receive lot of customized, what you call the related advertisements. How they do. So getting their feedbacks or getting the metrics of what kind of search you're doing. So similar advertisement you will get one. So that kind of a level of feedback we do with the DevOps. Okay, it's a simple thing. If you're posting in a web application, how much time it's been utilizing, how much time it's been consuming to open up that web application, or if you click the submit button, how much time it takes. So each and every of the function we will monitor, and so that it helps us to improve that process. Okay, it helps us to improve that particular process, guys. No proper configuration management, differences in managing the configurations. Yes, say like dev environment, I have a 3 dot version, or like if I'm using the production, my 4.1 version, different types of different types of environments, different type of environment in the dev and different type of environment in the prod. So even to make that simple thing, like say, yes, I have a different environments. How can I change that? How can I configure? How can I use my configuration management to make that clear? Okay. So I'm like using like a different types of configuration management, making yes. So all the applications, all the Java, whichever in the dev or prod, everything will be moved into the 5, so that everyone can feel the latest changes of the application and everyone will use the same version. It makes them easy to their jobs. Actually, that is a where you require DevOps guys. Okay, so career after the DevOps guys. You can see like why, like what is my career? The usual question: what is my career after the DevOps? So moreover, right, like now most of the applications is moved into the DevOps. You can get it up like to say DevOps will be the common phenomena in every of the your every of the software development life cycle and any of your regular projects. So now it goes to the like a common usage tool. Okay, why we required, you see a lot of advantages, right? How you going to be improving your business, how you're reaching the customers, how you're using cloud-based applications, how you're using the multiple configuration management. So these many features they have, that's where, market or each and every of the client is acquiring the DevOps. That's where it open the windows for the new positions, guys. Okay. Uh, so that's one of the, most promising software which is in 20th first century. Okay, it operates like many, each and every of the client is adopting the DevOps guys. So you will have a tremendous openings here. Along with that, one of the disadvantage of the DevOps, as I said, right, it is a process of SDLC model. So it has a lot of wings. You called, okay, there is a monitoring separate section, there is a separate admin section, there is a development section. So a lot of wings. Okay, you won't get one specific wing. Say, hey, if I learn this thing, will I have it? Will it enough or something? It's not something like again, new tools is occurring. So new tools coming. You have to learn every time to improve or like not to update yourself. Okay. So suppose in the monitoring section, previously we have a different monitoring section. Tomorrow, we got like today we are using one monitoring tool. Tomorrow you're getting more monitoring tools. So you have to update yourself so that you'll be into the market. Yeah, that is one of the disadvantage with DevOps. But moreover, like if you're looking for the new job, then you have to update yourself. If you've been into the stabilized in one job or one position, it looks good. But career after the DevOps course, you have a plenty of options. And this is a stepping stone to upgrade yourself, guys. So if you're in a real time, like if you're in a working employee, this is a first stepping stone for you to upgrade yourself. Okay. And the occur question usually, I'm sir, like I'm in a fresher, I'm eligible to learn the DevOps. Whom can learn the DevOps? There is a specific person say these persons only can learn DevOps or these particular persons only can learn DevOps. Anyone can learn DevOps. Or like if you're a fresher, you can learn DevOps. If you're an experienced person, you can learn DevOps. If you're a non-IT background, these are like one of the good tool you guys can learn. Why? Because it's not required any of the previous experiences to say like I'm not. It not required any programming language separately. It not required any of the tool. You have to require prerequisites. Not you. We don't have any prerequisites here. But only if you are similar with the Java or any of the .NET, how the process happens. We won't do any development. If you're understanding the process, okay. So Java, they'll create a jar packages. If you have that level of understanding, it makes you more advantage. It's a kind of add up advantage only, but it's not required to learn. Okay, you're not required to learn like how Java do, not uh, like how compiler do, how Java C is been doing. You're not required to learn all those things. A simple thing which we require. That's a developer work, not the DevOps responsibility. But if you're familiar like with that process, it help you like add up advantage to fix or any issues or like where if you stuck somewhere, it will uh, somewhere troubleshooting things. That's how we know your that experience helps in add up advantage only, guys. Okay. So DevOps capabilities. So I said right, like DevOps consulting and continuous integration and development, infrastructure and environment. These are the three different branches or different routes of directions we after you learning the DevOps. Okay. So DevOps consulting, moreover, this is a kind of architecture kind of thing. So like architecting and tool stack, like a 10 plus years of experience persons will always look for DevOps consulting kind of thing. Okay. What they usually get the consulting and what they usually get with the consulting, DevOps consulting things. Okay. So architecting their applications and making up their applications, what kind of tool they have to use, or which kind of tool constructions, like how the new feature enablement or the like existing software, existing product. This is a kind of DevOps consulting will be happen. This is a one role, guys. And the next role is CI/CD. This is what we call DevOps developers, guys. Okay, so it's a mid-level, what you call the 5 to 7 years of experience persons that they call it as a not I can't say 5 to 7 years, less than 7, like less than 7 from fresher to less than 7 to 8 years experience. They'll be called a DevOps developers or senior DevOps. Moreover, right, less than 7 years they usually use continuous integration and development things. Okay, they'll make that continuous integrations. They do some development. They do some CI/CD pipelines, and they'll do like what you call releasing of the software, planning for the software, all those things. So this is a one different role usually we have it, guys. And other role, infrastructure and environment management, where like most of the things are being utilized as an admin privileges. Okay, there is a one kind of admins, system admins, like storage admins. Every all of the admins will come here. So their job moreover like making up the environment ready. Okay, making up the environment ready, say like uh, DevOps requires storage. Okay, we may use NFS storage, or we may use a different types of storage, or like if it is a cloud basis, we may use S3 or we may use EBS, so different types of storages. That is also we need to maintain one person. So that's where, right, like a storage is required, or admin person required to make like different types of managing the applications, the configuration management, everyone configuration management, and as well as system of admin, all our network admins, all are will come under the infrastructure and environment management section. So these are the three different these are the three different roles you guys have to be there. Okay, now yourself fit yourself, say, hey, I have like a 5 years experience. Will I fit into the CICD? Yes, I have like 5 plus years of experience in this kind of what you called admin, system admin. Okay, I'm a fit here. I'm a fit here. This is a kind of a route direction which I always leads to that. But you can over welcome to any of these things to say like you can do the DevOps consulting, or you do the CI/CD, or you can do the infrastructure of this thing. What your mindset, but your previous experiences will be fitted here. That is the one at the advantage only, guys. What we have. Okay. So this is the capabilities. What usually we discussed. Come to the tools. Okay. Come to the tool section. Here we have a lot of tools, guys. So we have different types of tool sections, and each different tool section have a different types of tools. So specifically, SCM tools, we use the GitLab or Bitbucket, and CI/CD tool, we have Octopus, TeamCity, Jenkins, Bamboo. Okay, here I would like to tell you one specific thing. Okay, here I would like to tell you one specific thing. One is open source. Okay, one is open source. Okay, one is open source, one is the enterprises version. Okay, what is the open source and what is the enterprises version? So if you come to the, if you're looking for the tools, right, there are the two different types of tools usually available in the market. One is the open source and one is the enterprises version. Okay, how many guys are using the Windows laptops, guys? How many are using Windows laptops? Okay, so usually you have to purchase the Windows software. Okay, you can't get it as a free, else it's a piracy. Okay, you have to purchase the Windows thing. Okay, how many are using the Linux or like Unix of operating systems? Those are the open source. You can purchase them. You're not required to purchase. You can directly download. It's not something private. What do you call it? Privacy something. Piracy something that you can download it anywhere and you can utilize it. It's not required any of this thing like a cost involved with that. Okay, because of Linux or Unix are the open sources where Windows is the enterprises thing. Okay, you have to purchase something, then only you will get that one. Okay, so even similar here. Okay, it may be like sometimes some specific companies also do in enterprises for the open sources as well. Okay, in the open source only, but they'll themselves make some comfortable things, and they'll say like, yes, we are ready to provide some kind of support support for this thing. But only thing, right, in if you see if you're using Windows, you'll get updates. Okay, they'll do some patches. If issues anything, they'll do the patches. But if with the Linux and all, right, you won't have any much things. You won't have that kind of a support. If there is some crashes happened, okay, Windows will do support, but Linux and Unix, you won't get any support. That is a where like your enterprise just makes you more comfortable way. Okay, so even in tools also we divided into the enterprises version as well as the open source. Where GitLab is open source, Bitbucket is enterprises. Jenkins is a open source. Sorry, Jenkins is a like a open source, where Bamboo, Octopus, these are the enterprises things. Okay, so you can download Jenkins and you can start working with the Jenkins. But Bamboo or like TeamCity, these are the enterprises things. You have to purchase these softwares and you have to utilize. If you have any issues in the Jenkins, no one will help you. Okay, yourself you have to do troubleshoot. If I have any issues, or you will get a enterprise support from these things because you're paying them, right? So they'll have an enterprise support, guys. So for testing, so we'll integrate a SOAP UI into the DevOps thing, or like Selenium also we integrate with our DevOps thing. And coming to the performance management, I'm not sure even you'll get a community support as well. Sometimes you won't get a community support as well, but because of you downloaded it, they always suggest you to go to the upgrade versions. That is the one thing you will receive from the community support. So performance wise, like performance testing, right? Like definitely we required performance testing here with the DevOps. So these are the load impact, like K6, we have a Zmeter, like a lot of other tools we usually integrate with the DevOps. And security tools. Okay, so security tools means it's not something security. This is what we call DevSecOps, Dev Security Ops. Okay, so that it makes you like no other interrupt your these things are like what you call any vulnerabilities your application or something. Okay, so we'll discuss more on that, but anyway, like we usually go with the Sonar Cube or Zap. These two are like more really good functions of this thing for security purpose. But Sonar Cube is open source, where Zap is kind of enterprises thing. And monitoring wise, Prometheus and Grafana you can get as an open source. CloudWatch or Nagios, Nagios also you can get as an open source, where CloudWatch is a kind of enterprises thing. Okay. So incident management tools, like we may have plenty, but moreover we're compatible with Jira. That is also kind of paid services only. For communication channels, Skype, MS Teams, Slack, or Outlook, all these things we have, right? So you may get one doubt. Hey, we're discussing about DevOps tools. Why we require a communication channel? Why we require Outlook here? Why we require a Skype, or why require MS Teams? Because of getting feedback or notifications. Notifications is a one which is very important now. So suppose if you say like your development has been completed or your pipeline has been completed, because of DevOps, ultimately improvising the manual intervention to automated. So automated means like if any process is running in automated way, you have to get notified, right? So that's where we require a communication channel. Say like okay, that job completed, this job completed something. Okay, and also we're discussing about the monitoring as well, right? Like you may be using one server, the server is being about to like filled up to say like 100 reaching 100%. How you get the notified until unless system screwed up, right? Like you get a free what do you call it? You get a pre notification say, hey, this particular server reaching 180%, so do some action. So that's where like you will receive the notifications. That's where you require a communication channels. So usually we use Outlook to get a receive emails, or we'll create a Slack channels to get an update. Okay. So project management tools, we'll get the Jira, Confluence, Trello dashboards. So these are the dashboards actually. Okay, dashboards, Confluence where you will have like a documentation box. But these are all, most of them as kind of paid versions only. Okay. So cloud tools, come to the cloud tools, AWS, Azure, GCP, we have different types of cloud tools we're going to use. And configuration management, we have Ansible, Terraform, AWS Cloud Foundations, many different types of things we have. And orchestration, okay. Orchestration wise, Kubernetes, ECS, EKS, GCP, we have a plenty of options guys here, okay. And packaging tools, we have a packaging tools of Flyway and Docker, and MQP, we have SQS and RabbitMQ. Along with that, we may have a plenty of environment management, HA setup, and then HA setup for RAMQ, DR environment, replica sets, MongoDB. Like, we have a plenty of tools we divide into the DevOps. Now, how come how you will get a weightage after in the DevOps? How much tools you learn, it makes you more weightage, guys. So if you say, hey, I know that tool, okay, welcome. I know like, 10 plus tools. Oh, very good, welcome. So that's something that will happen from good to very good, from very good to like great. It will take you. If you learn more tools, you will be more demanding person. Yes, this is a kind of demo. So now we'll go to the course content what we offered in this particular journey. Okay. So meanwhile, like let me read any comments, any questions we have here. So I could see you provided one question. Hi, sir. How will be career in DevOps down in 5 years? Very excellent question. So it makes you like common. Say like how you do the testing in every of the application, right? In going further, 10 another 10 years, DevOps will be the common word we usually been into that. Okay, so there is a like a usually like whenever we are learning the tools, right? Say like if I'm learning SAP, what will be the downtime for the SAP? Is 5 years? After that again I have to learn something new. It will be like that only if you learn the tool. But here, right, you're learning the process. Okay, if any new tools coming, it been coming into the DevOps, so you have to adapt yourself to the new tools or like any new features, those things. You're upgrading yourself, every day you're upgrading yourself, so your lifetime of your career is improving. Okay, now you learn the new tool. Okay, your career is improved like another 2 years. You learn like so, but moreover, you are under the one umbrella. Okay, so there are many branches, but you've been into the one umbrella where that DevOps. So how you going to integrate that tool and how you going to making slicing that tool, that makes your improving your career, or like you are improvising your lifetime span of your professional career, guys. Okay, so yesterday one tool, today is one tool, but most of them tools you're going to integrate with the DevOps. That is where you required. So someone developed the tool. Okay, they took like a years to develop the tool. You simply learning the tool, like, 1 day, 2 day, you learning the tool, how, what you're doing, and start utilizing the tool. Simply, like, your span of professional career increase 2 years, guys. That is a where, next 10 years, I could see the DevOps. Okay. What what if we did not learn the tool? What will happen? See, like, if you not learn the tool, if you're so suppose if you are been to the one project, like for first 5 years you've been to the same project, you won't anything, like, you won't see the latest things. Okay. If you start learning your tool, that's where your say suppose that project is planned for, say, hey, I want to upgrade that particular tool. So if you're not required, if you're not learning the tool, that's up to you, like whether you want to been into the market, or you don't want to upgrade into the market. That's up to you. But if you learn, your career will be boosted up, and the span of your professional career will increase. Okay. We are in IT industry, boss, so we have to upgrade ourselves in more every day. But what difference between others to the DevOps? DevOps is still like been to the umbrella where, like, you are in a comfortable zone, not something like, you're going on today one thing, tomorrow everything changes. It's not something changes. Okay, but you've been under the same umbrella, so that it's you are in comfortable zone and make up yourself to comfortable, or like more yourself to upgrade. That's where it will happen. Okay, what will if what will happen if wall is demolished? See, like, a person can't do 100 like all the things, right? But production team, we require a production team, and we require a developers. One person cannot do all those things. But to make that more comfortable, or what you call more better way, that wall need to be demolished. Even I'll tell you an example to say, like, while developer doing these things, right? All the developer things like an always crazy minded. Say, if I do that future, how it will be? If I put it this submit button here, what will happen? So that that crazy ideas always developer will think. But production support will always think his stability. Application need to be stable. Application need to run in the stability mode. So now you have to, like, whatever the crazy ideas, you have to adopt the crazy ideas, and you have to think in that way. Yes, this crazy idea also can be make it up a reliable, or can make it up a scalable. So that is a way, like, okay, now you are picking up, yes, hey, that idea is very nice, so you can pick it up this thing. Okay, I can make the process to your crazy idea, this is a crazy idea, and you're developing this thing. As a DevOps engineer, I can make that, that idea to stabilize into the production, so that operational team can feel comfortable. That's where like DevOps engineer is required. Still, that no coordination is not well, but again, after the DevOps comes, right, like it makes you like more responsible person to communicate between both. Actually, in a previous slide, we discussed about the capabilities side, architecture capabilities, one which is doing that actually. So introduction to DevOps, SDLC models. So when we start the class, right, first 2 days we will discuss like what kind of SDLC models we have, what is a waterfall model, Agile model, DevOps practices. We'll see detailed level of those things, and we'll discuss more like how that has been era has been changed from waterfall to Agile, from Agile to the DevOps. Okay. And we have a plenty of the tools. That's whatever we discussed, Jenkins, Zmeter, TeamCity. We have these many tool sections. We will take it up like what a small like intro session for the tools. Actually, sorry. So small introduction about the tools we're going to discuss here, guys. From our actual course, we'll start from here. Okay, we start with the Git. Okay, so Git is a kind of version controller, what you call, keep your code and maintain your code, all those things. So these are the subsections. You can go and see every day, day to day, what we do. Like we go like one subtype by subtype, and the course duration for this thing is like 5 days. Okay, so within the 5 days, we will complete the Git. Why? Because this is the first step, right? Like you guys has been into the tools, so you're going to start here. Definitely take you guys have to understand what happenings, or you have to get familiar with these things. So we will go with very slowly here, and we will try to understand like, okay, because you're starting, adjusting yourself into the DevOps things. That's where it required a little bit more time when compared with other tools. So because of this is the first step where, developers use integrating with the developers. Okay. So it's simple like version controllers, how you maintaining your code, how developer will, this is where, developer will give you the code. So that's where you have to understand the developer more. So after that, we go with the Maven. So Maven is a tool for build management. Say like, moreover, this is Java related code, Java related things. So how you do microservices, Java, like what do you call, um, Solars, all those things, comes under the this particular build section. So here you're not going to develop any Java thing, guys. You're only doing whatever the code you get it from the developer. You're going to utilize that code only. You're not going to learn. You're not required to learn anything Java here, but only simple thing Java lifecycle. Say like from where Java, if I give Java C, or if I give how I to create how I can compile the code. So those things you have to, like, if I have a familiar with that, it will make an add up advantage. But no worries, we will discuss those things. We have a lot of things here. So Maven will be the 3 days of course, guys. Next, after the code has been packaged, okay, now from the Git I have get the code from the Maven, okay, from the Maven build the package. So after the build package, we're going to do checking the security scans. We do the scanning of security. Okay, so if any vulnerabilities are there, like any duplicate fields, see suppose in field verification, say like I have, if I created 100 fields in my code, but I've used only 10. I've used 90 unused variables, which is not at all acceptable, which is not at the best practice. Okay, to eliminate those things, we're going to use the Sonar Cube. We analyze the code and we integrate with Maven, and we analyze the code. We do like a security scans, like to say vulnerabilities, these things. Okay, so these also like in a 3-day session, guys. Next, Nexus repo management. So here we're going to do like a binary repositories. How do you do the Nexus setup, and then creating repositories, pushing your package. So what are the package you got it in? First, initially you got the package. Later you scan that and confirm that no vulnerabilities are there. Then you're going to store that package in somewhere. Okay, you have to store that package to somewhere to utilize it. In future, or like send it to other environments. You're going to use these things. Previously, we used to simply like copying it into the share folders or something. Now we are not going to use such kind of criteria. Now we are using kind of repository tools where you're going to place this thing and anyone can access this thing. Okay, that's how we will use the Nexus actually. Next, Jenkins, guys. So we call it as a CI/CD pipelines or continuous integration, continuous delivery. This will definitely take 7 sessions, guys. So this is a very important for a DevOps engineer. If you derived yourself as a DevOps engineer, you have to get Jenkins. That's it. There is no compromise here. You have to learn. You have to familiar with the Jenkins. That's it. Next, after the Jenkins, we go with the cloud AWS services. So some of the services we will give you like EC2 instances, how we have to create EC2 instances, and storage services, AMI and IAM, load balancers, networking gateways, which we required for a DevOps engineer. What kind of services you require to understand from AWS perspective or any cloud perspective, we will discuss here. Okay. And next, infrastructure as a code. Yes, this is the one like, trend in the market. So we go with the Terraform. So what is the infrastructure as a code? What is the Terraform? How are we going to do? All those things we will learn here. This is also very trendy in the market. A small, which makes like a lot of impact, guys. So after the completion of cloud, we start doing the AWS. Sorry, we start doing the Terraform. Why? Because if you're familiar with the cloud, right? So now how if you learn like how to do EC2 instances, okay, same thing, how are you going to do EC2 instances from the code base? How you spin up your EC2 instances from code bases? That's where like, dependency for AWS to the infrastructure as a code. Okay. So after you're going to learn configuration for Ansible. Okay, why I'm required to Ansible? Like we have a plenty of other options, right? Like you may have the Chef, Puppet, all those things. But Chef and Puppets are like simple configuration tools, so where Ansible have a lot of things. Even it works where it works as a even infrastructure as a code as well. So that's where it has a multiple uses, guys. So that's where we always prefer Ansible. When compared with the Chef and Puppet, Ansible is a simple process where Chef and Puppet is like enterprises versions as well. Next, we will discuss about the Docker. Okay, like Docker is always like usually take 3 to 4 days, guys. So we will discuss like how Docker has to be happen, how you do the persistence, how do you do the volume networking, and then setting up some applications, creating the custom images. We have a plenty of options we have, but Docker is also mandatory, guys. Next is a rockstar, what we call Kubernetes. So this is a market trendy now. You have to Kubernetes will take like 7 days, guys. So Kubernetes and Jenkins is a kind of a two hardcores. Okay, so these two you have to learn at any cost, which makes you more weightage into the market. If you learn in the Kubernetes from end to end, so it makes you more weightage to the market, more weightage to your profile. Okay, so this will definitely take 7 days. After this course, right, after the Kubernetes, like we can say more of the tools is been completed, and we'll give you some kind of a projects here. So one is a simple service project. This is like a small one particular service, a small code, and also we do the complex, like to say multiple multi services, like multi microservice architecture of thing, like a two or three microservices will take and we deploy and do the project, guys. So you will understand that that's how the real time works actually. So after the DevOps, like if you're into the DevOps engineer, you have these many roles and responsibilities. As a DevOps engineer, is my roles and responsibilities are derived consistently, or it's a standard, or like it will variable, varies, it will change it from the day to day or something? Yes, you have a 7, luckily, in the market, when I've been into the DevOps, right, we don't have much things. So like a one person doing all the jobs. Okay, now what is the market, right? Like they're derived it like, okay, why we have to struggle one person? We can take like, multiple positions, multiple people, multiple positions. So, multiple things we can achieve. That's where these 11 things, these 11, whatever we have here, 11 steps has makes 11 jobs, guys. Previously, one person doing all these things is the one thing, but where nowadays we have 11 jobs. That makes you like, more positions open here. See, programming and scripting language, so some like a developer level, version controller, some admins, they're maintaining this thing, logging, sorry, I'll back here. So build and automation tools, the configuration management and tools, CI/CD tools, test automation tools, login and monitoring. Okay. And next, database, if required, anything, the configuration, containerization, container orchestration, cloud computing. Each one have their own set of things, and they're like a, suppose if you say like a containerization tools, right? A Docker and Kubernetes, that's a different role, and their market has the specifically specialization in these people. Okay, logging and monitoring. This is the one ruling the market right at the moment. Okay, this is the one particular concept ruling the market right now, guys. So along with orchestration, we do this thing. So this both as a ruling the market. Okay, so minimal salary standard also high for these two only. Okay, so like a specifically CI/CD role or configuration management tools, like to say Terraform or like Ansible, they have their own jobs, guys. So it is increased a lot on the jobs wise. So previously we have one job, one person can do all those things. Now it changed, like they want expertise in each and every section, guys. So that's where you're getting more jobs. That's where your market has been increased a lot, guys. Okay, so these are the tools, or these are the course content we are going to learn here. This sections, like this course content will be happen 60 days, 60 sessions, guys. So not 60 days, it's a 60 sessions. Okay, 60 sessions, guys. So we definitely take these things. Sometimes we'll extend it like every session will have 1 hour duration. At the end of the session, we will provide you some kind of a sample resumes, and we will provide you some kind of like these things, what you call small project, and real-time project with at least 3 microservices, so you'll understand that. And even while doing the course itself, every day we do the practical things only. We won't do any of theoretical things. So most of the thing, maybe 1 or 2 times we require to theoretical wise, but moreover we will do it practical thing only. We won't out of the practical thing. And for each and every of the concept, we will provide the material, guys. For each and every of the thing, we will provide the material. 1 second, guys. Yes, sorry, guys. So like that's where market have more jobs and more DevOps engineers required in the market. So any questions, on guys? Like back to you. So thank you for listening me almost like more than ever. And let me let me hear you guys. So first I'll read the chat if you have anything. So please detail batch timing slot available last in PPT. Okay. So for coming to the batch timings, guys, so we'll continue the same 8 to 9 every day, guys. So 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And for weekend Saturdays, we will have a couple of sessions, which will 2-hour sessions or 2.5 hours. So we'll discuss more on the what happened on the weekdays, any issues, or anyone able to track any required backup, or like if they're specifically looking for a specific topic, that we will do on the Saturday. So daily classes will be happened 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. guys. Okay, so it's 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yes, yes. You will get every recording. I'm not sure, like we will get every recording. As of now, we're planning for a G Drive or G Suite, so that you will please place all the recording. Every class will be recorded and will be provided recordings for you, and it's a lifetime span. You can go and hear or go and use the sessions anytime. It's a lifetime, guys. Whoever missing the sections, they can hear anytime.
Hi, Shiva.
Hey, hi, Anupam.
Yeah, Shiva, one doubt. So in this case, like you are going to cover that infrastructure as a service. So are you going to cover some of the Linux terms here? Because I think the Linux commands are the one which will be used to create those files.
Uh, Excellent question. See, well, come to the Linux, right? See, from EC2 instances, we do everything on the Linux or Ubuntu thing only. So moreover, right, like how I design this course. See, like if I'm doing whatever I'm doing the daily jobs, I have to be integrated here. Okay, from yeah, from AWS. Okay, from the AWS section. Okay. So moreover, everything we do it in the Linux things only. So we'll definitely take like I forgot to add like some unique sections, like we'll definitely take it up some at least 2 classes for the Linux basics. So from there we will take you to the Linux things. All these things, Ansible, whatever you each and everything we'll do it in the easy to like sorry we will do into the Ubuntu or Linux only. And even moreover, whatever we discussed like previously, Jenkins also we will I'll show you like how you do to how you installed and how you utilization wise in Linux environment. But starting wise, so like usual things like the course content how I designed here, one to like before the Jenkins and after the Jenkins. Before the Jenkins, which is called CA process. So usually like that is where you directly interact with the developers. So developers won't use like a Linux environments. They always use the Windows environments only. But after the Jenkins, whatever we discussed, those are the CD process, which are like our production environments, which will be more over in Linux environment. So these things we will discuss in the Linux only. We won't do it in the Windows. Okay. So that's where before coming to the Ansible, we will take like some basic sessions on the Linux. Actually, I forgot to add that particular slide, man. Thank you. Hope I covered your question, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So, Shiva, another question. So, suppose now this is a 60 sessions program, and like you told, you have trained more than 2,000 resources. So, what
Yes.
is the career graph after taking this training up to 60 days training? So, how their career graph changed, and which are good organizations they were able to join as a DevOps? So, that will be a motivation for us also. Like we can also see ourselves there.
I don't know. See, it's like a career-wise, moreover, luckily, like, I don't know, I'm like lucky on that. I'd say like, specifically few batches have defined like most of them as a freshers only. So that's how, I got lucky on that. So they started their career as a DevOps. And moreover, specific, even my last batch, all are like, real-time employees. So they are like upgrading themselves. So that's like a lot of conversation we usually happen. And see, every project, like, the starting DevOps, man. So if you simply like it's not something, okay, I'll learn this thing and I'll change my career. You're going to upgrade yourself. You're not changing your career, you're upgrading yourself. That is what I can say. Like, if you learn the DevOps, you're not changing your course content. You're not changing your this thing. You're upgrading yourself. That's it. So when you are upgrading yourself, definitely your career has very boosted. So that's a DevOps is the highest salary wise. So I won't discuss I can't discuss much on the salary wise, but on an average salary for like a DevOps engineer for 5 years, it's around 15 lakh into three market. In other, see, some other tools also we have, but lifetime span of that particular things is very low. Okay. So if you see, previously SAP is one of the highest market, where around in 2012, 10, 11, 12, that time SAP is the very highest market. Now no SAP. Most of the SAP projects are migrating into the DevOps.
Yes.
So that's
And
a
Shiva,
disadvantage with the tools.
hmm. And Shiva, like you told, learning this DevOps, so it is a continuous learning process also. So once we have done this course, like suppose we have covered Jenkins, so are you going to share any material or links where we can study more about Jenkins or more about Git or more about Ansible or other things?
Yes,
Or you'll be
definitely. Like that's
sharing
what I
some
said.
questions? Okay,
No, no,
sorry.
no. We will definitely share like the course like one kind of a material where you will understand each and every of the concept. Say suppose if it just take the Jenkins, so we will cover a kind of document where each and every of thing on particular particular Jenkins. So we will share that material as well. And also like we will have resumes, we will provide the resume services, and along with that we will provide some interview questions. And you guys have a forum kind of thing, and you can discuss if any interviews happen, any questionnaires you attended an interview, and you can take that. That's the kind of forum you can guys can comfortable doing that. But moreover, from our side, like we will provide some interview questions as well, and we will provide you like kind of resume services, like 50 plus 60 50 plus resumes we will give you more like a how can you do that later, like if any specific personal, say like, hey sir, like this thing, like we can discuss in the classes itself. Like say, hey, so someone is say like we want resume, so I take that as an opportunity, and we'll discuss on the resume concept on there.
And so last question, like I have seen people who, not you specifically, I have seen some trainers who were giving trainings, but what they did, they were sharing their uh, already recorded code only, and they were giving the demos, they were sharing the recordings showing that they communicated like they are going to build a new code with us, but that was not happening. So what they did, they had a pre-existed code, they just shown that and told us, okay, this is the code and this is how it is done, but they didn't tell us how the interfaces, how we need to build, and where we might face mistakes. We do mistakes and all.
No, like see, my wise code wise, right? So what I do, right? See, first thing, if I'm telling about the code, I'll tell you the structure, where it required what. Okay, for suppose Java, if I required a Java code, for suppose until the Jenkins, I required some kind of a Java code. So I'll go with the same existing code which I have. But after the Jenkins, if I'm doing Ansible playbook, right? So there I'll give in a structure, say like, okay, this is where you have to write an Ansible code, and this is how we have to write in Ansible code. That's the same code we'll run here. Okay, it's
Okay,
not something we can't do like a complex thing. Say if we say like complex things and all, we can't write at the moment, and we can't do that. But if you specifically say like basic code, we definitely write it up on the screen, and we see first thing whenever like even I the way of I teach, right? First I have to understand what if I'm doing the code, where it required, what it required. That's how it will define writing the code. See, suppose simple for looping, writing a simple program in the for loop, it's easy. But fixing or fitting your logic into the same code, complexing code is where your experience is required. If you learn the basics, then it will easy you. It will take you some time for fitting that complex thing into your code. But basic things where you require, like where you have to loop the for loop, or where you have to loop the do while, or where you have to do that particular thing, that's where it will we will lead you that.
correct, correct, Shiva. So actually, I was telling in a way that the code can be just a hello world program also, and the HTML file or the application which we want to launch, that can be just
No, we
an
won't much
application with
things
the.
here in the code, man. So see, code
Okay,
basis wise, we won't have much things here. So maybe like Ansible side, we required AML, we kind of called AML programming language. It's a one session we usually take. So AML
okay,
is a kind of a structured oriented language. Say like it,
okay,
it won't allow you. Hey, if I put here, it won't allow you. It will a fixed kind of a structure. Even if one line change or a small what you call a small space, also it will impact it a lot. So it's all the structure oriented. For coming to the
okay.
DevOps code wise, you won't have much things.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
You're not required to learn much programming things here. Okay, someone is saying like, what is the future for DevOps in the next year? Definitely, like I could see like it's going to be the common terminology. Now it's a special terminology. In future, definitely like every project will have a two to three. How is the developers, right? Same thing you will see like DevOps engineers. Okay, and what is the DevSecOps? Yes, DevSecOps. Yep, this is a one of same question what you asked, right? What is the future for the next 10 years? To say like whenever there is a new future has been adapted, right? Like DevOps has been adapting that. So security, like when initial time DevOps has been prepared, right? So security was not included. So I'm shown here, right? Like okay. So dev and ops. Okay, later, right? Like market has been adapting the security. That's where it has been added here. Security has been added here, and the security wise, so this is how it will add it to the your content actually to say. So this is how your like SecOps has been adding, and this is how the DevOps has been adopting your any new tools things. So what are the security tools like we discussed about the Sonar Cube, right? Sonar Cube, how the Sonar Cube or like how the Zap or something, How those things adapting. Even now, anyone is looking for the new tool, right? They're thinking of, yes, how I can integrate this thing into the DevOps. That is a where, like, DevOps is ruling the market. Sorry, yes, John. Yes, this course, like, will take the, anyway, we have a Linux section. So actually, that slide is missing. Very sorry for that. So, like, we are do like a shell script, basic shell scripting along with the Linux basics, actually. Yep, guys. Hope, like, if you have any questions, come up with that. Yep, Suraj, you can ask any question, man. So freshers wise, like, for freshers career wise, nowadays in the market, everyone is asking DevOps trained freshers. Okay, that is a where it makes you more advantage, guys. So at least if you start learning, so you will have a lot of options. So specifically, even a few days back, like a few days back, also I received a kind of requirement, say like they required freshers, but trained freshers. So whoever trained on the DevOps, they want that particular freshers only. So make yourself comfortable. After this course, where we can see as a DevOps engineer in IT, it maybe have, like, we in last slide we saw it, right, like 11 positions, 11 different types of roles we have here. So you may pick it up any of those things, like maybe so specifically you may start working on the Ansible itself, or you may start working in the Kubernetes itself, or you may start working in the entire thing from end to end. So um, it's like we learn, like here we learn like more a developer and admin. Support wise, it's not specifically, we don't have much things on the support because a developer low role will be chop it as a support as well. But moreover, we'll discuss about the developer and administrator kind of aspects here. So like the way how you want to lead, so it's up to you. Like if you say specifically, like, sir, I want to go with administrator, so we will derive you into that way. If you say like, no, I want to take it up a developer role, so we will derive you into that particular role. But in the course, we will completely discuss both developer and administrator. uh, the specific kind of role, right? In Kubernetes only you have a specific role, say like a developer admin. For remaining things, most of them are like 80% are the developers only. Developers are support role, both are under the one category, but administration and developer, that difference being into the only like in Kubernetes. But we will discuss both like developer and administrative things here. Can we know the basic pay for freshers? So actually, it's based on the company's thing. Like if you go to the MNCs now, they're doing it like 4 lakh as a normal thing. It's based on upon the company. We can't say it like basic pay because market freshers is based on the company what they are hiring. Usual pay is a 4 lakh. As I know how the practical for Ansible will be handled. Ansible wise, like we use the EC2 instance here, like we may do like a 2 to 3 EC2 instances. We'll take it up. One as a client server, one is a slave nodes, or like what you call workers. So we will do multiple. That way we know we upgrade, we use the configuration things. See, moreover, after the like EC2 instances, we for everything for everything we require EC2 instances, man. So we'll help you like how you're going to create your AWS accounts, and we will teach you like we will use AWS accounts to do that job. So if I required any multiple server kind of things, we use EC2 instances. We'll create multiple EC2 instances. So no, Rahul, I'm not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yes, Rahul. Yes, Rahul, I'm able to hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I would like to ask. I mean, I didn't join it from the initial stage. So can you please provide the recording for that?
Yes, it's like we will provide you like every session, like every class has been recorded and will be provided you the recordings.
Okay,
The
the
lifetime you can utilize anytime.
recording for this demo as well, because I didn't join it from the initial stage.
Demo, yes, we already recording this thing. Recording is in progress, so we will also provide you this as well.
Okay. And sir, I would like to ask, as a DevOps engineer, how much coding requirement needed? I mean, if I don't have like that much coding experience right now.
No, we won't have much, even still, just before the question was we're discussing, we won't have much things in the coding basis. The only coding thing is required for your, this thing, like Terraform is Terraform is a place where you require more coding. Other than that, you won't have any specific role for the code here.
Right. Okay, sir.
But
Thank you.
Terraform strictly with the coding. So, but that is also kind of not something existing coding. We call it as a HashiCorp coding language, a HashiCorp language. So that is also fixed format. So we have to learn that. So we will teach you that.
Right. All right, sir. Thanks.
Yep, sure. So any specific configuration required for installing applications? No, man, not at all required. A simple, regular, how you use your laptop will be fine. Moreover, everything we will deal with Linux environments and we use EC2 instances. Are you cover Python in the separate sessions? No, Jaya, we are not covering Python here. That's a too vast and it's a separate thing. So we're not covering Python here. So your
Shiva,
basic on,
Krishna here.
yes, Krishna.
You told you are an SRE in some company, right? Exactly what is the difference between DevOps engineer and the SRE?
Okay, a
Like,
very good question actually. Yeah, SRE is a site reliability engineer. Okay, so suppose developers will do the developing coding, all those things, right? Even operational basis also they do operate all their these things. But as I said, right, monitoring things. See, what we do, right? We won't do in a we will always make sure high availability of the application. So how many of you are using a bank, right? Like if you are using any bank, right? If you have account in any bank, you will get some messages say like a downtime for the application. Say hey, the bank won't work on this particular time to time. Okay, 2 hours, 3 hours, you won't get that time, right? You will usually get that messages say like downtime for a application. As an SRE, so one of the major responsibility is making up high availability. You won't get that downtime messages. If you're getting the downtime messages, like it's a like a, to avoid that to avoid that cases only we use SRE. Okay,
okay, like
and
more
one
into
more
admin.
scenario, not admin. It's a kind of monitoring thing. So we will monitor each and every of what is the current level of a health system. Say suppose how many requests is coming. Say suppose how many people are using my web application. So 1 lakh people. So tomorrow 2 lakh people. So we make sure like we are providing the infrastructure for them, and we make sure that their response time reduced like from like milliseconds, from the seconds to the milliseconds. That is one of the job.
Okay. Like, does that need any development kind of thing for
No, no,
SRE?
no, no. It's a top layer of the DevOps. So, like it's a top layer on the operational side, as operational infrastructure sides actually. It is compared to say it's an advanced on the operational basis.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and one of the example, right? Like one of the examples say you might guys use like Google Pay. Like few months back, like to say 4 5 months back, most of the payments are pending. Okay, you will usually get it like okay that payment is pending, this payment is pending, like you will get it like sometimes of these things. So you won't because usual payment transaction has to be happen 5 to 10 microseconds, 10 milliseconds. So it should not take more than that. Okay, that's where Google Pay has failed for that, and it started using the SRE. Okay, then now we can see like how Google GPay has been working, taking up like a 5 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds to do the transaction. Even 45
Yep.
seconds, if payment has been not happened, they'll consider that as a failed transaction only. So that's a level of micro level things do SRE do. So that's how it will improve your business required needs. It won't use for all the applications. It was not required for any healthcare systems. It's not required for any of these things. It is only required for like a kind of utilization, because Google Pay for a day, like you will have more than 10 crore of transaction, more than 100 crores of 10 crore transaction amount, 10 crore transactions will be happen. That's where you require your application high availability. And now one of the SRE concept we've been utilizing into the this thing IRCTC. That is also one of the, they started, TCS is started SRE thing in there. Like I have a couple of colleagues working on that. So in sooner, maybe like another couple of months, you will see like IRCTC, like very, very effective uses.
Yeah. Like one more question. Do we need to do any certifications after this course, like to boost up our resume, something like that, or
Yep.
certifications are not needed?
So certifications are not needed, but those are add up advantage things. So certification wise, we don't have any DevOps direct certifications. So we have some tools wise certifications. So Jenkins wise, yes, Jenkins has have a certification. Jenkins engineer have a what we call certified in CJE, what we call certified Jenkins engineer one certification. And for Terraform also we have certification. And for Ansible also we have certification, but Ansible I'm not sure. For Kubernetes also we have certification. There we have two different certifications, one for the admin, one for the developer. These are the 4 certifications we have, but definitely like that makes you more weightage. But in India we definitely know like if the certification is none of the matter for us, because we know how we do the certifications, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That
Shiva
that
Okay,
sir,
means
like
like
hello.
yeah,
yeah,
like
yep,
is there any
yes,
other
Rahul.
course kind of thing for SRE?
Yes, there is separate course we have to do for the SRE.
Okay.
SRE,
Yeah.
moreover, it's suitable for the architects, not less, not for the these things, because SRE is sitting in hard pan. That's it. You will get every day, you will get every minute pressure. So, moreover, it's architect kind of thing. Makes more advantage. I
Okay. Okay.
suggested that. But moreover,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
freshers, SRE is not suitable. Mm, Again, 5 plus,
I
more than
have
7 plus in a SRE is suitable.
actually I have some 10 plus of experience, so I'm just asking.
Yeah, it's sitting in hard pan, man.
Okay, okay.
Uh, Shiva, one
Yeah,
question. So,
yeah.
which all sessions will be initially starting the demo one so that we can decide whether we want to continue and when we have to do the payment and all?
Yep, like Nexus team will reach out to you on that payment structures, all those things we can discuss with them, and moreover, like we'll do for a few more demo sections, guys, so that like we'll have a good strength in the batch. So it's a kind of a commercial thing. So we do a couple of more sessions on the demo, but definitely like maybe within a week span of time we will start course, man.
Okay, so if the sessions are starting from Monday, so initially a couple of sessions we can attend and we can decide whether we have to continue or not. We want,
Yep, definitely,
right?
definitely. Like,
Okay, sure.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Shiva sir, I
I think
have
maybe
one
one or
question
two
to ask.
sessions. Yes, Rahul, please.
Uh, how many projects and real-time scenario it would cover in a course?
See, most of the day, like we do the practical things only. We won't go any theoretical thing. I won't like any theoretical thing. So, but
Right.
at the end of the course, right, integrating. See, at the end of thing, like and I'll tell you one hint. So every time, whatever any course you learn, one of the DevOps main job integrating those things into the Jenkins. Okay, suppose you
Right.
done Terraform. Okay, so Terraform, how I'm doing that into the pipeline. That is the one thing we have to achieve. Like, okay, that's one of the step. Like, we say yes, that is done. So that's where we will integrate everything into the Jenkins and we'll do a lot of pipelines. And at the end of the course also, like we will integrate our Kubernetes into the Jenkins and make sure like, getting the code from there into the Kubernetes. So we saw end-to-end pipelines. Okay, that's where we designed it as a two things. One is a simple pipeline, other one is a microservices. To say 2-3 microservices, how will interact with one another. So that is one kind of code we do. I mean to say like multiple pipelines we required, multiple hosting things we required. So that's how we will do project spend here.
Okay. And what will be the schedule like? I mean, it's from Monday to Friday.
No, it's a Monday to Saturday because I'll take
Okay.
some time for the Saturday because like sometimes some people may struck are unable to get up some activities, or sometimes they some missing the some kind content or something. So we will have a free time to discuss on Saturday. So 1 hour session and 1 hour free time to discuss how we doing like this today.
Okay. So it will be like a 1 hour class for 6 days.
60 sessions. I won't say like 60 days. So we've always go as a sections wise. So sometimes any festivals or some public holidays, even I have to enjoy myself, right?
So 1 hour session every day.
Yes, 1 hour session every day.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
So my front desk team will reach out to you for all those things. If they have any questionnaires on payments or other things, they can reach out to them and they can get back to you on the after the session. And moreover, if you require any course content also, like you can reach out to us in the further sessions as well.
Sure, Shiva. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Any more questions or else I can wind up the session.
I'm good, Shiva.
Yep. Thank you guys. So thank you so much for your time, and it makes me pleasure talking with you. Hoping see you soon later, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.